My name is Amanda Stevenson, and I would like to welcome you to Southeast Washington, D.C.
This is Southeast Washington, D.C., the waterfront and ballpark entertainment district, the corridor of commercial and retail development, the entertainment and relaxation mecca, and D.C.'s new food hub. But wait, it's Southeast, but this is not Ward 8. If you didn't know, there are two sides to Southeast, and to get to the other side, which is Ward 8, we have to go across the Anacostia River, the body of water that separates us from and over the bridge that connects us to food and economic access and opportunities. Take a ride with me across the bridge that many travel, leaving Ward 8 for food and economic refuge. Today, I'm taking you back to the 8th Ward of Good Hope that Martin the King dreamed of, on a food journey through the disparities, desires, and dreams of residents and other stakeholders. With resilience, they reimagine the broken system. As I am working to address the problem of how might we create a new and inclusive food culture to improve the health and wealth of Ward 8, where the cost of living is outpacing the incomes and life expectancies of many residents. To now realize a healthy and equitable food culture in DC, starting right here in Ward 8.
Food has been a health and history lesson. It prepares us for everyday function and our future. Not only does food impact our physical and our financial, food impacts our emotional. Food impacts our mood. So let's analyze food on an emotional basis for a few minutes. It is said that food influences our thoughts. It triggers emotion. It triggers memories, both good and bad. Food influences our responses and our behaviors. And a couple years ago, I discovered that there has been a lot of reports on what foods a person ate to the foods that they didn't eat prior to committing criminal activities. And also, there have been connections between food, ADD, ADHD, anxiety, other behavior imbalances, or other disorders that people experience on an everyday basis. So does that mean the food in our community is connected to antisocial behavior, or what we call crime or criminality? And all this time, water has been getting the bad rep. You know, you've said there must be something in the water. There have been many studies that connect our genetic markers to sweet and salty preferences. So the foods that you eat are impacting and altering your DNA. And the foods that you eat then impacts offspring. So, is that a generational curse?
I do believe certain traits can be passed down to the next generation. So high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, certain things can be passed to the next generation. So yes, it could be in your genetics. Doesn't mean you can't do nothing about it. You know, you just have to be extra careful. You know, so if I know that high blood pressure, high cholesterol runs in my family, I'm not going out eating greasy foods. I'm not eating eggs and sausages every single day because I know that runs in my family. You know, so yeah, genetics run. It can run in your family, but that means you need to be that much more intentional, that much more conscious about what you're doing.
Epigenetics is an area where we are looking at how our food turns off light switches. Our DNA is a part of that process. When we think about it, hosts our body's memory cells. And that's why I talk about how the foods of our ancestors connect to the memory of those foods and what provides us with that natural connection of what say is strong food for strong people. So when we think about the standard American diet, how is that operating in our bodies? Is it making us high performing people or low performing? And we can look at the body count. We can look at the health status that we are facing. But this is why it's so critical to understand that the foods that we choose in our life play a critical role in our genetic interactions, and it literally can leave a footprint that can be traced back to not only our past, but also make an impact on our present and future.
There are also studies that show early childhood behavior links to antisocial behaviors later, but they both are rooted in nutritional inequities and nutritional inadequacies. And all this time, we've been giving full blame to the child. And I know you've probably said it or you've heard it, ooh, that child is bad. But we need to reconsider that because the food was eaten by the child and the food influences the child's behavior. So, that child ain't bad. It's possibly the food that you're giving it. Well, anyway, what do you think about it? Okay, well, let's hear the thoughts of some other people because they have a lot to say about it.
I went to public school here, and what their lunches weren't very healthy. Just saying this as a student. There's a lot of corner stores where they just buy their lunch, like Lunchables, where you can make your own meal, like Capri Sun, Kool-Aid. And I didn't see a lot of healthy things like homemade sandwiches, oranges, apples. So I don't consider this community to be that healthy. But like if they're pushed to a certain level, they can be healthy.
Unfortunately, a lot of homes that I go into, just looking around and seeing what people have on their counters and refrigerators, they're not making good food choices. I see a lot of fried foods. 3 o'clock in the morning, a little baby is up and there's pork chops frying in the kitchen. A lot of soda, a lot of candy in the household.
I've had families that say, hey, I think my child has ADHD, but your child's also coming to class with a large bottle of Hawaiian Punch. They got a jelly donut with icing all over it, and they're trying to eat that for breakfast in my classroom. I got to shut it down at the door like, hey, Mom, we're not eating that. And I don't think, we don't understand that taking in those fats and those trans fats and saturated fats, that affects brain development, especially when you're doing it on a regular basis. So that the cognitive development of the brain, your memory, all that stuff starts to decline based on the nutrition that you're putting in your body. So if you have a student that's eating that stuff first thing in the morning, and now you're wondering why your child's bouncing off the wall, they can't focus, they can't remember anything, it's because they started the morning with a Hawaiian Punch and a donut, and then for lunch they're eating Twinkies and chips and Takis. You know, so you have to have a balanced nutrition meal to help with that brain development. And that also can refrain from a lot of students becoming or having, being labeled ADHD and ADD.
I think they labeled some of our students, especially some of our students of color, black students, other students of color, labeled them, and I think it could have been some of their diets. They'll be eating sweets and stuff when they should be eating healthy diet, a good diet. You should make sure you have that. And that makes a difference in how the students learn, how they cannot learn, and some of them hyperactive and you wonder why they're jumping off the walls or something. It's because of what they have had in their stomachs. They didn't have the proper food. I think they label them, they so quick to put them on Ritalin and other medications to keep them medicated and or to their self, and don't have them mainstream really into the classroom.
Food is not only good for our bodies, it's good for our brains. I remember doing a workshop years ago called Food for the Brain, standing room only, and people were very mindful that the brain is the next frontier. When we think about not only our gut health, but the neural connections that it plays out in communicating to our bodies. And the thing with food, it operates like a light switch. And our environment also plays a role in operating like a light switch. And so how in which we use food, brain food, to help not only heal our bodies and our brains is critical because they all communicate together.
Oh, absolutely. I think you are what you eat, If you're eating a beast, you subsequently can have characteristics of a beast, So I do think that a lot of the food that we consume, a lot of the processed stuff, a lot of the things, a lot of the sugars and the fats and things like that are in the foods that we naturally consume here in our community has a lot is directly relative to how we think, our mental clarity, how we react, our emotions, how we respond, how we show up, our mood swings. So it's very important to understand that
we can have crosshairs in that communication by the toxins in our body that disrupts our hormones, our communication flow, just like how we have communication flow disruption in our communities because of violence, because of a lack of communication through lack of newspapers or listservs. Imagine the same kind of structure in our bodies when we have a lack of communication or disruption of communication.
Especially working in community mental health, everyone has some form of Medicaid. So they may be struggling financially or struggling, with housing. So most people have been homeless at some point. They're looking for shelter. And I think they have an understanding that when those things aren't met, they can't focus on whatever underlying mental health issues or medical issues they have.
I don't know, maybe they're in a bad time right now. Maybe they've lost a family member and they just don't want to think about their problems right now. So they're just trying to solve it out with other stuff.
We have people who they're broken families, but yet they want to continue to drink, and they see the damage that's causing their families. These little kids are seeing, little kids are seeing just people drinking. They're seeing people coming in and out of the house. They're eating bad foods. They got drugs in the house. They got alcohol in the house. Some of these houses are smoky. So when you have these little kids brought up into that environment, then unfortunately they're not going to be able to learn in school because they're not getting proper nutrition. When they don't get the proper nutrition, then their ability to think, critical thinking, is going to decrease. And with that as well, with all these drugs and alcohol in the house, that means there's not a lot of learning going on in the house. You can't have a parent or a guardian teaching little kids if they're always intoxicated or under the influence of drugs. So I definitely think what you put into your body, you're going to output, and that's going to affect the society around you, and whether it's positive or negative.
Well, there are many studies on the food-mood complex. You can look it up for yourself.
I haven't heard of it until you said it, but I totally agree. I feel like, look at us. When Thanksgiving happens and we eat all that food and you sitting down, you sit on that couch, it's hard to move. It's hard to even get up. As opposed to when you're eating lighter foods, your vegetables, your fruits, you have a little more energy. When you start with your breakfast in the morning, rather than going the whole day without eating, you have more energy and your body can perform better. So yes, food does impact your mood. You have to be careful about what you're eating.
When we talk about mood in particular, think about the state of mood our communities are in. We, at times, I wonder, have a low-grade depression mixed with a cocktail of trauma.
I've been on scenes where family members or children are right there. More recently, a woman was shot and killed in an apartment. She had 4 kids right there in an apartment. And also with victims of domestic abuse, a lot of times the children are right there.
If a person is representing low vibrational energy, where we are mixed with shame, bitterness, guilt, fear, anger, what kind of foods would you self-medicate with? Fried, diet, laid to the side, perhaps?
When we don't have basic needs met, all other facets of our life kind of fall apart. So in terms of, having access to healthy foods, having access to shelter, and various supports, are greatly needed in order to, prosper and, thrive. Because we're all going to have setbacks. We're all going to have situations where, things occur, whether it could be death or illness or, just any type of incident. And if we don't have those things met, then that leads to other challenges.
I see a lot of kids that are growing up around a lot of drugs, a lot of violence, a lot of turmoil in the house, and that's going to be a part of who they are as they grow up. And unfortunately, that's going to cause some problems as well. These kids are going to have a difficult time learning. They're going to have a difficult time fitting in with society outside of their immediate area.
If we were at a state of high vibrational energy where our moods were fixated on love, peace, hope, joy, happiness, love, what kind of foods would we eat?
Unfortunately, they see the same things we see, and they may not have the same resources. They may not have that family support. They may not have that friends. They may not have the educational background to kind of deal with these things, this kind of traumatic experiences. So I'm not sure how they are dealing with that.
So I think the most important is that everybody has access to those things. Because I think when you don't, certain traumas kind of, come into play. And then that could lead to the diagnosis of the ADHD or other oppositional defiant disorders. And I focus on more youth-based, because that's what I generally work with. Or it can just lead to more depression and anxiety. So we need these basic things met so that we can thrive and focus on the other issues that kind of come into play in our lives.
A lot of people resort to drugs. We see a lot of people on the street. They may not be in the best they may not live in the best living conditions, but yet, time and time again, they resort to drugs, and they look like zombies. To tell you the truth, that's why I hate looking at TV shows with zombies on it, because unfortunately I see it here in DC.
I think that quote is absolutely right. You are what you eat. So if you're feeding yourself garbage, the way you think is going to be clogged. Your mental is going to be clogged up. If you're eating things that are fruitful for your soul, that's what's going to show up in your actions and your thoughts, and the mental clarity that you have. You'll just see a glow. A lot of things that, ultimately we strive for through unnatural things come naturally through consuming the right foods in our bodies.
What kind of foods would give you high energy? That would be our bold, vibrant plant foods, our fruits, our vegetables, our whole sprouted grains, and our water, the air that we breathe, hopefully that it's clean and portable. Those are things that speak to high vibrational energy.
We also need stores like Fresh Food Factory Market for healthy food for people to stay strong and be alive a little longer.
Food plays a role in our immunity, in our mood, in our sleep. All of these things that, either can help us to thrive or not thrive.
You put great food in, you're going to have muscle mass, and muscle mass is going to be of high quality. Your energy is going to be up. Your clarity in thinking. You're going to be physically more flexible and decrease pain and inflammation in the body. So all these things are directly connected and related to what you eat, and also the physical fitness aspect plays a huge part as well, as far as fresh air and clean water.
Now, I see food as a pathway to freedom. So if we truly believe that we deserve the right to have food that impacts our mood and live at the most high vibrational level that we possibly can, this is where we have to address these issues, the root cause of them, so we can all be healthy and thriving.
Hello, my name is Erin, and I'm going to be telling you facts about James Hemings. James Hemings was born into slavery in 1765. At an early age, he was noted for being a good cook. At the age of 30, he traveled and trained to become a professional chef. He learned how to make ice cream. He learned how to make french fries. And he also learned how to make whipped cream. He brought it back to America for all of the people who worked. Thank you, James Hemings.
What I do at least 3 times out of the week, I run 5 miles. I feel like me jogging personally is meditation. After I finish my 5 miles, I just have like, one, I'm burning calories, and two, I just have a mental clarity after I've run. It's like meditation, literally. And then I come in the house and I shower and I have a shake. Oftentimes I wake up in the morning before I jog and I do what is called, I call a eternal shower. And I drink coconut water, a big cup of coconut water. I go out and jog and I come back and have a shake for breakfast. And it just kickstarts my day. It's an amazing way to start a day. I feel great. My energy levels are high and I'm ready to take on the world. So that's part of what I do in regards to my workout.
You do need people to talk to. You need an outlet, whether it's exercising, talk to other people, spiritual life. But you do need an outlet to get away from some of the pressures, some of the hardships, and some of the negative things that you see with this job.
I'm so excited that I've really got into reading, especially since the start of the pandemic. I've always wanted to get into it, but work and with life, I made excuses, but I've really fallen in love with reading. So even this year, I've set a goal to read 2 to 3 books a month. I read every day. I read the Bible every morning, and I play chess. Chess is my thing. Like, I love to play chess. So I think between chess, reading, and also being an educator, you have to stay on top of your game. So I'm constantly reading and learning new strategies and tools. That's what keeps my brain sharp.
The police department does a good job as far as offering services that we need them. Myself, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, so I go to church regularly. At this point with the pandemic, our services are online, so I watch services online every day. Also during the week, I might pull up a YouTube video, I might pull up a sermon, I pull up a lot of spiritual Christian music and listen to that. I'm a musician as well, so I love music. I love jazz music, so I listen to that. I listen to some neo soul, and that helps me calm down.
I recommend, maybe if you have it, you should always have maybe some tea or some herbs in the morning, and then you can have other food later on.
A week in every month I take out 7 days to do a fast, and it's been extremely great for me. I have my instincts are intact. My clarity of thinking is sharp. So I really feel like I'm very healthy, and I'm looking to continue to inspire the health and wellness amongst our people.
My mom works out every day, and I like to join her. And she also does dance workout classes, and we also do a sun station is. What I believe it is, the first time I did it, I believe it's just stretching your body to get ready for the day. But the thing is, I like it because I'm usually always tired in the morning, so it's good. And I like it because you also have to face the sun.
Fitness is a part of our lifestyle. Like the same way you brush your teeth, you take a shower, fitness falls in that same bucket. So it has to be a part of your lifestyle. So for me, I'm working out 6 times a week because I feel like I have to do it. Well, I don't feel like myself, So yes, health, fitness, and wellness is part of me. It's who I am. So for me, I like to start my morning, if I can, with my workout. The reason why I push people to start the morning with their exercise is because if you do it first thing in the morning, that limits the variables that can happen throughout the day that can keep you from working out. So if you start your morning with that workout, that sets the tone for the rest of your day. You've already accomplished something. This generation we have now is more conscious than our parents' generation. We have more people working out now than the previous generation. So each generation is getting stronger. We're getting more conscious. It's a matter of just continuing the evolution of it.
Well, I at least try to stay away from cookies. Even if I did eat candy, it would probably only be organic. But
I try to make healthier eating choices, and with the job that I have, where I have to exert a lot of energy at times, that it helps. I don't want to feel sluggish. I don't want to feel out of breath. So I need every advantage that I can to be able to help others in need.
My vision for the food and wellness system going forward is making it more a part of education. more part of the curriculum, more like instilling those values in our children so they can, I think the youth is the future of tomorrow. So if I can shift your mindset from a young child, like, hey, I need to take care of my body. I need to be working out. I need to be eating healthy. Now you're gonna pour that into your children. The only reason why I think like this is because my mom and dad instilled it in me. I didn't learn this in school. I didn't learn this anywhere else. I learned from a young age from my parents that you gotta watch what you eat. You're not gonna eat fast food every day. You're gonna play sports. You're gonna be constantly moving. That's what's gonna keep you healthy. It's gonna keep you sharp. So now I know, okay, that's what I gotta do. So I'm pouring that in my son. You know, so I think it starts with teaching the youth, educating the youth, and also educating the parents the importance of health and wellness. And I think it's going to be a generational thing. Each generation is going to get stronger.
We tell our children that you can create a new legacy, and that legacy does not have to be diabetes, heart disease, cancer, hypertension, and any other host of itis that we have had in our past because of the way our city and state and country has been designed.
As far as overall health outcomes, if you're on Ward 8, if you're on Ward 7, you don't know about Competitive by Nature, you're playing games, okay? So let me plug Competitive by Nature real quick. We do free workouts 2 to 3 times a week. During the pandemic, we're doing 2 HIIT workouts a week and yoga on Fridays. So you get free programming that's fun. All right, we have a great time out there working out, burning calories. So if you're trying to, if you want to improve your overall health, first step, come holler at Competitive by Nature.
Now you are in the driver's seat. We hope that Feed Ward 8 drives you to change and to share your stories. Capture your insights, actions, and impact and send them to our team. Like us, follow us, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and DM us videos and screenshots of the change that you are making for yourselves, your family, and the community. We want to show everyone around the world that you have taken action towards a new and inclusive DC food culture. The person with the most engagements and creates the most positive change by Tuesday, April 27, 2021, will be honored as our community hero or shero. The renowned portrait artist Luis Peralta del Valle will paint an image in your likeness, and it will be hung at the Fresh Food Factory's market alongside other heroes and sheroes for all to see.